guys, Tyler Thompson, Kentucky Sports Radio. Just first, Lamont, how's your shoulder feeling?
It's feeling better. It's feeling better. Excited to compete.
So this is kind of for all of you all. I know Coach Pope said that you had like a team outing, like a team bonding thing before you left Lexington. Can you tell us a little bit about it and what it's like to kind of go through this together?
Yeah, so what was that? Friday night? Or no? What's that?
Today's
Thursday? What was it, Tuesday night?
It's Thursday.
It was
today.
Tuesday night, yeah. So Tuesday night, we had a team dinner thing where it was just all of us at Jeff Ruby's. They catered the food for us. We were in there, and we watched the movie. We watched Remember the Titans. It was a really good movie, motivational movie for us. Just another chance for us to get together and bond as a team. You know, could be our last moments, but hopefully not. But it just gave us a lot of motivation going into this next tournament.
Lamont, you and a lot of your teammates are having your best statistical seasons of college basketball. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just everybody is hungry this year. I feel like a lot of us came from smaller schools or different places, and we were able to compete at one of the best schools ever. We all wanted to be remembered here, and I think everybody's just been playing their heart out, playing their butts off, and I think the confidence that Coach Pope puts in us every day. I think we're just able to go out there and have a great year, and we got 6 more games to show what we can do.
C.L. Brown, Louisville Courier-Journal. Lamont, you've had the most success individually in the NCAA tournament. What kind of message or how do you relate to the rest of the guys who either haven't played in a tournament before or never really had much success? What's kind of the message going into these games?
I mean, just have fun with it, man. It's really a blessing just to be on this stage, to have this opportunity. So, really just have fun and, play free. Everybody has dreamed of this moment, and to seize this moment, we just gotta be ourselves, do what we've been doing this whole year to get here, and just do it at a high rate. And we just need everybody to be special in their roles, and I think it's gonna be a successful year for us.
John Huang, NOLA Media. This question is for Andrew, but I'm hoping the rest of you will chime in also. A lot has changed for every one of you this past year. I was wondering what you were doing this time last year, and specifically if you remember watching the Kentucky-Oakland game.
Yeah, I think last year we were on the wrong side of the bubble at Wake Forest, so probably would have been, getting ready to play an NIT game, second round of the NIT. But yeah, definitely watched that Kentucky-Oakland game, and we probably wouldn't be here if that outcome wasn't the way it was. So, I think for all of us, we're super excited to be here in the tournament and to show what we can do. Mario, what were you doing?
I think this time last year I was in the transfer portal. So just wanted to see what schools would reach out, and I'll say the same as AC, just, seeing that game and just wishing that you was in a position like that. So I'll take it. What was you doing last year?
This time last year I was probably at home, just watching the games. We didn't make the tournament, so, I was just wishing eventually I'll be here. So I'm just glad and thankful that I'm here now. You? Yeah.
I was in Utah getting ready to play against Nevada in the first round of the March Madness tournament. I do remember watching the game. It kind of just shows like how teams show up when they get a chance to play against Kentucky. So I think it's good now, being in this position and being in this side of their shoes and just seeing like what other teams are going to bring against us and just understanding that we got to be able to bring our best versions of ourselves. So. And that's something that we will do.
Oh, I was in Spokane. Remember, we were playing the Trouble board game just in the hotel, just watching the game, and yeah, it was a crazy game, man. We were just surprised of how it went, how Goki was hitting every three, but definitely glad to be here and hope that doesn't happen to us.
Steve McGargy from the Associated Press. To each of you, as was noted, none of y'all were part of that game last year. When you're around campus or around town, how much do people still bring it up to you, or do they bring it up at all?
I would say people don't really bring it up. You know, it's a new time that we're in right now, and like you said, we weren't there last year, so we just got to be where our feet are, kind of, and just, you know, focus on what we're doing this year and what we got ahead of us. So obviously, everyone knows what happened last year, but I mean, I think we're hungry to go out there and just play, regardless of what all the outside noise is saying about what happened. I think we just excited to go out there and play, really.
Lamont got his last question about his experience as buzzer beater with San Diego State. I think I saw Andrew and Ortega and Kobe kind of laugh. Have you guys been talking about behind the scenes amongst yourselves this week that, yeah, Lamont's going to get all the questions. He's the guy that is the most experienced. He has the most notable moment in this tournament. What's the conversation been like with y'all?
Yeah, it's Lamarch. That's what he is. That's what we call him.
Guys, you were in the portal either this week or very soon after. This year's been, Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio. This year's been up and down, exciting, lots of injuries. Now you're all here. Is this, when you came to Kentucky, is this what you thought this year would be like? And if not, how is it different? And I guess I'll just start with Kobe and you can go down.
I feel like it's definitely surpassed my expectations. Just being able to see what it's really like to be a Wildcat and be embraced by, you know, the great fans and just be a part of something special. You know, I feel like we've done a lot of special things this year, and to be here now, you know, it's rewarding, you know, all the effort and everything that we did this whole year to, you know, end up here now. And, you know, we know that there's a lot more to do, so that's ahead of us, so we're excited for it.
Yeah, I'll kind of say the same thing as Kobe. I mean, it's probably been like the most fun that I've had playing basketball in a long time. So, you know, just it being at Kentucky and playing with the guys that are up here, and I mean, everyone that's on the team, it's been really fun. Definitely has surpassed my expectations, just in the sense of like what we've done, and like we still have so much more to do. And you know, like kind of like what I said earlier, I'm just blessed and thankful to, you know, be on this stage and be able to play in the game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll say, you know, it's really been a great year for us. You know, every team and, you know, every year brings its ups and downs. You know, we've had a roller coaster every year, but, you know, I feel like, you know, it kind of brought us together even closer. You know, everything that's went on this year, and, you know, we're really excited to go out there and really just show what we can do, prove people wrong. But, you know, I kind of expected us to be in a good position, you know, from the summer to go win a national championship. So, you know, that's on our mind. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'd say for sure it surpassed my expectations. You know, I think Kentucky has just been amazing from the time I stepped foot on campus in the summer, for sure. You know, I know we all know how good of a team we are, and so this year has been able to prove that time and time again, and you know, we're excited to be able to prove that again here in the tournament.
I'll say the same as Lamont and Andrew. Just how together we've been. You know, we're all a new group. I don't think anyone's ever played with each other before this year, and just the games we've been able to pull out this year have been tough, but, you know, we've been able to do it. That's just the kind of team we are, so I'm thankful for that.
Hey, Ortega, Isaac Trotter with CBS. Like, with all of the injuries that you guys have had, like, defensive chemistry feels up and down. Like, when you're whole, how good defensively do you think you guys can be, especially with you and Lamont and Andrew and Amari on the floor together?
Yeah, I think when we have everybody, I think we're one of the better defensive teams in the country. And even when we don't have everybody, we still have all the pieces. And I think it's more of a mentality thing, like when we really lock in and decide like we're going to want to play defense and, you know, take other teams out of what they're doing. I think we're one of the better teams out there. So a lot of it for us is, you know, just locking in and, you know, doing those things. And we're going to continue to do that as we keep on playing. And, I mean, we have all the tools to really be that good defensive team, so.
Lamont, obviously you know what it takes to get to the national championship game. You've done it before. You said this team has the material to do it. What do you see in this team and that makes you confident that it has the ability to make a deep run?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen, just throughout the year, the resilience that we play with. And, in the tournament, things are going to go wrong. And I feel like we've done a great job of just, bouncing back really quick, from, say we lost a game or, we had a bad half. I feel like the next thing that we do is just great. We've had a lot of great second halves, a lot of great, bounce back games. And I think that's going to just carry over into this tournament. And then we just got guys that love each other, play for each other, and know what this Kentucky brand means to them. And Kentucky is a winning program, and we want to continue to win for it.
This is for Andrew. I know that self-scout is a big part of your all's process, and it has been this week. What was one thing that you guys really noticed when you look back at the film of Alabama and Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think for us, trying to learn more, we talked about defensively. I feel like, I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but feel like even in the last month, 2 months, almost since the Ole Miss game, I feel like we've really tried to see growth through everybody individually defensively, and I think that's added to our team growth defensively. And so specifically in those type of games, definitely had some lapses in ball screen coverage, and so we've continued to get better, a whole lot better the last couple months in it, but that was something specifically that we looked at. And in March, a lot of teams will turn to just high ball screens, and trying to be able to defend that is an important part of winning and getting far in March.
Anything else? All right, guys, thank you. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joined by Kentucky head coach and proud former Milwaukee Buck, Mark Pope. Questions, please.
Hi, Tyler Thompson, Kentucky Sports Radio. After offering to pay for fans' gas money, how many requests have you received, and what's the craziest one been?
Well, I'm on purpose not keeping count because I want to reduce my stress level before tournament play. But it's yeah, that was not the smartest thing I've ever done.
CL Brown, Louisville Courier-Journal. Mark, what do you obviously have guys who are veteran guys, experienced guys, but very few have, outside of Lamont, NCAA tournament success. What to you is the difference, if any, between experience and tournament experience?
I don't know if there's that much of a difference. I think we probably make more of it than it is, and I really say that sincerely. We'll approach this game against Troy like we've approached every single game all season long, with the same words, the same intensity, the same vocabulary, the same urgency. We kind of max out the prep and intensity of every game, and so we'll do it the same here. I think the beautiful thing about experience is, the one thing about experience is this game can throw so many different things at you, and so the more experience you have, the more the more memories you have to call back on and be like, okay, I've been here before, I've seen this scheme before, I've executed in this situation before, I've felt these emotions before. And so the more familiar experiences can be to you, I think that's a bonus, and certainly our guys have a lot of that.
Hey, Mark, John Huang, NOLA Media. Coach Cross looked us in the eye and told us that the tougher team will win this game.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? And if so, what does your team need to do in order to be up there in the toughness level?
Yeah, I believe that that's true with every game that you play all season long. I think the toughest team wins. I think that's a universal in this game of basketball. And so, but the definition of toughness might be different than what we think. And we've talked about, you guys are so bored of me talking about this, but it's the same thing. Toughness is not, belligerently punching a dude in the mouth. That's not toughness. Toughness is how undistractable can you be? What is your tolerance for staying focused on the job at hand in this exact moment? How focused can you be on this possession and the next possession, regardless of what the fans are doing or the refs are doing or the scoreboard's doing or anything else? That's what real toughness is in the game of basketball. Of course, there's a physicality component of that for sure, but the physicality doesn't usually come from desire or like some rage or white-hot intensity. It comes from your ability to be focused on where you are in the moment. That lends itself to the physicality of the game too. And so I think that's a universal thing. Certainly in the game of basketball, I think the toughest team wins.
Steve McGarvey, Associated Press. You had talked about experience. I'm just wondering, what's the biggest thing you learned from the couple games you coached at BYU in this stage?
I don't know if there's any huge takeaway. Just confirming that this is the greatest sporting event in the world.
Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio. You guys have had an insane number of injuries and guys in and out and in and out. But I was struck when the 5 players were there. Probably 5 of your 6 guys who started the most are here, are relatively healthy. With that group and then the bench you have, I mean, even though it's been a long path to get there, do you feel like you're where you want to be now entering this as best as you can be? We're exactly where we want to be. We're a 3 seed in this tournament, playing a great team on Friday night. It's the best. It's what you work for all year long, and what you work for your whole life is to have a chance to come here and compete in this tournament. And we have great guys, a group that's really together, and we're gonna expect and get out of them everything that they have to give us, and it's gonna be all the drama that we could possibly ask for. We're exactly where we want to be.
Mark, Darryl Bird with the Cat's Paws. And every year in this tournament, the double-digit seeds pull off the upsets. I'm wondering, how valuable is it to have Ansley Almanor, who was on a 16 seed that took out a 1 seed, and what advice he's been able to give?
Well, I'm glad we're not playing against him. He's already done that once. I think it's the beauty of a team. That's what's great about a team, is that a team is like, it's a little bit like a marriage, right, or like a family. In that you don't benefit just from your own experience, but you benefit from all the guys' experience on your team. And certainly Ansley walked in here with a ton of experience, not just one NCAA tournament game, but a whole slew of experience in life and on the court and battling and perspective. And so, we're grateful to have him, just like we're grateful to have every guy on our team.
Mark, Todd Rosiak, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. What was your go-to order at Cops back in the day? And what do you remember about your time with the Bucks and just living here?
I can't even think about it. This Cops, whew, boy. We should have, is Cops the official food supplier of the event here?
You can make it so.
It should be. I mean, they should be. Oof. We didn't have a go-to. That was what we loved so much about Cops. So I lived out in an apartment right off Blue Mountain Road. And so I would come back from practice every day, and you turn around on Blue Mountain Road, and literally I would take a right into this little apartment complex after you pass the Cops there. And at the time, Leanne was pregnant with our firstborn daughter, Ella. And so I would go by the placard that's probably digital now, but at the time it was one of those things you stuck up the letters. And it would be the custard of the day, and I would literally call her as I'm driving by, okay, it's black raspberry, are we in? And get the yes or no, and then I would decide how many pints we brought home. It's a magical place, man.
Mark, the players were asked earlier kind of what they were doing this time last year when UK played Oakland. I'm curious, maybe this is the wrong time for reflection, but how much thought have you given just to the randomness of it all? If UK beats Oakland in that game, there's a good chance you're not here, and there was no coaching change, and everything else proceeds differently.
Yep, I've spent 0 minutes thinking about that. Thanks for introducing that idea. This is what I know. So 2 things. I'll give you a 2-part answer. One, you guys, I've said this over and over and over again. One of the things that brings me and our team so much peace is that we really believe that God has plans for us. Like, we really do. And And I don't know exactly how all the levers get pulled and what part all that plays, but I just believe that there's plans for all of us. I really do. I'm a really faithful person that way, and I really believe that. And it's not, I'm not saying that, you know, our efforts are for naught. I'm just saying that there's plans for us, and we believe that, you know, we believe that we're all here together in this locker room for a reason. And the fun part is discovering why. And we believe that we're here at this NCAA tournament for a reason. And the fun part for us is going to be to discover why. And that's really important to us. And then the second part is with you know, kind of the randomness that you mentioned, whatever. We try and spend zero time thinking about that. Our job is to be focused exactly on our job at hand. We all get distracted. We all do. But the best competitors are guys that manage to take most of their energy and focus on the job at hand, and we have a massive task at hand Friday night. We know it. We're excited about it.
I asked my listeners to give me a question they wanted me to ask, and the one person wrote the same question 17 times.
There we go.
So I felt like I needed to ask. They said that their favorite thing from you is when you break down a team, and they haven't gotten to hear you break down Troy yet. So as a coach, could you break down Troy?
Yeah, Troy it's a championship team. That's the greatness of the NCAA tournament. Everybody in here is a championship or a championship caliber team. Troy, you know, the numbers scream out at you, which everybody in BBN already knows all the numbers. They're the numbers, you know, our fan base. You talk about the most educated fan base on the planet. It's really humbling and beautiful. But Troy's the number 7 steals team in the country. They're the number 6 offensive rebounding team in the country. To put it in perspective, in the SEC, the best conference in the country by a mile, the only team that we played that was more effective on the offensive glass in the entire league was Texas A&M, in a league that prides itself on being on the offensive glass. That's how potent this Troy team is on the glass. They're very much in the genre of Missouri in terms of having a multitude of changing defenses that they use all the time. They'll, you know, they have, you know, anywhere between 3 and 5 kind of zone attacks, some full court pressure, some 3/4 court pressure, different ways that they guard and man. They're really, really disruptive. They have a point guard who is really special. He's the conference player of the year, and for BBN, you'll know the name Chucky Hepburn, and he's very similar to Chucky. He's a rover on defense. He breaks every defensive rule, and he's one of the leading steals guys in the country. In fact, in three of his last 5 games, he's had 5 steals a game in 3 of his last 5. That's a ridiculous number. It's incredible, and he does it by breaking all the rules. They have bigs that really, really shoot the ball. They're very dangerous. Their starting 5 2 games ago was 5 for 8 from the 3-point line. He's shooting up. Their starting 4 is a guy that'll run off staggers and run off screens. They'll run underneath out of bounds actions for him to get threes. So they're a little bit of an inside out. You know, their bigs are really dangerous shooters. I expect they're going to be by a multitude of 10 times more physical than you might think they are on film. I think they'll be one of the most physical teams we've played. They're really interesting because you'll see this dichotomy. It was fun as the first night we watched a bunch of film, and then in the morning we started digging into the numbers, and they walk the ball up after makes. They walk it up after makes. So then we go to their synergy page, and 18.7% of their possessions, it's either 18.3 or 18.7, I can't remember, are transition, which rivals Alabama. And I was so shocked because I was like, whoa, hold on. This team doesn't feel like Alabama at all. But sure enough, after misses and after steals, they manufacture so much in transition. It's a really good team. It's well put together, and it's incredibly well coached by Scott. He does a great job, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. I'd keep going if you want me to. There's 17 questions. I'll give them a little bit longer answer.
Just what, if anything, has Lamont kind of shared with his teammates these last few days, and just kind of what it takes to make the kind of deep run that he made with San Diego State?
You know, Lamont's so beautiful because he really is a quiet, confident leader, and so he doesn't have to say a whole lot, but when he talks, the whole team listens. You know, I think Lamont would echo exactly the same thing that we're saying. Is just like, hey, this is all about us. Just being as non-distractible as possible, about focusing on the moment. That's what gives you the best chance to go have success, and he definitely leads by example in that way.
Hey, Mark, Isaac Trotter with CBS. It seems like when you guys struggle, you guys lose the shot volume game by a lot. How can you, as healthy, like kind of maximize like winning the shot volume game and also potentially winning the shot quality game, which you guys do a ton of as well?
Yeah, so it's obviously the glass is going to be a major factor in that. I mean, that'll be number one, and protecting the ball will be number two. It's two mainstays for us all year. We've been one of the most effective ball protection teams in the country for the most part. So this will really test us. And then we've been actually one of the best defensive rebound teams in the country. We do have an opportunity to get on the offensive glass here that we're going to have to find a way to find some space there. And then the pace of play is really important for us. The pace of play is something that we were excellent at in the first couple months of the season, and then with a lot of changes, we had to kind of stay above water a little bit, but we would love to find a way to find some pace in this game as consistently as we can.
Mark, as a player in 96, you know exactly what it takes to navigate all 6 games for a title, but also as a player in 95, you guys may have had the best team and you fell way short. How do both experiences enable you to communicate to your team what it takes at this point?
Yeah, you bring up all the bad memories, man. Whew. That North Carolina Elite Eight game, that'll haunt me forever, courtesy of Coach P, who tortured us for the next year, but it worked. I think, listen, I love data points. You guys know I dig into data points. I dig it. But in terms of those things, it just brings me back to the same old boring habits. It's the same old thing. March is a magical time, and March Madness is real, and you can't control everything. But what you can focus on, what you can lean into is your focus. And if Coach P, who led us through both of those, he led us through the disastrous Elite Eight game against North Carolina, and they led us to the championship in the Meadowlands. It's his ability to focus. His ability to focus on right now and not be distracted by any of the stuff. And that doesn't guarantee wins all the time. It doesn't, but it gives you the best chance. And we're pretty good at that. We're pretty good at staying focused and locked in. I have a lot of confidence in our guys. Like, I'm really blessed that I get to coach guys that I really believe in, that are really unbelievably talented basketball players, that are really, really tied together, that are prepared for the moment. When the big moment comes, they've showed that over and over and over again this season. And so my job gets really easy because I have so much faith in our guys.
Last one.
Paul and Banks, thesportsbank.net. Two-parter about Jackson. Number one, what can he bring for you guys or contribute, since obviously he's not playing? And then number two, when this season is over, whenever that may be, and he is, headed to the process, what is an NBA team that drafts him? What are they getting in him?
Yep. So Jackson Robinson is an unbelievable leader. He's an unbelievable translator for our team. He's a great motivator. He's a guy with quiet confidence. He adds all those things to our team, even today when he can't step on the floor. And what NBA teams are going to get with him is an elite level shooter who's growing in his downhill game, who's got tremendous length, and he's got with the right matchup, he could be an unbelievable defensive player, have a huge impact on the game with his length. A guy who's been through it, who's dealt with misfortune, who's dealt with weeks and months where he's had to sit on the bench when he was young and kind of worked his way through that. He's a really incredibly resilient guy, a guy that's going to blend in beautifully in a locker room. He's a guy that any NBA team would want to have in their locker room as a rookie. Because he's got an unbelievable upside. He's going to grow into a great player. In those games where, as a young player, maybe he was spending most of the time sitting and watching, he's going to be an incredible asset to the team. He's a winner. He's a special guy.
Coach, thank you. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have the Illinois student athletes at 2:50.